the secret behind Norway's economic miracle. This is Norway, a small, quiet country that somehow keeps getting used as the poster child for a perfectly balanced economy, part socialism, part capitalism, and it just works. Norway has one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world, second only to Switzerland and a few tiny, ultra-rich microstates. It runs a healthy trade surplus, has some of the highest life expectancy rates on the planet, and a highly educated workforce. With more university graduates per capita than almost any other country, unemployment is practically non-existent, and to top it off, Norway is consistently ranked as one of the easiest places in the world to do business. But here's the part that really blows people's minds. Norway manages all this while being one of the most economically equal countries in the world. After taxes, someone in the bottom 20% income bracket still earns about a quarter of what the top 20% makes. Now sure, that may not sound super fair, until you realize that in the OECD, the average top earner makes 10 times more than someone at the bottom. Norway's 4-to-1 ratio? That's practically egalitarian paradise, and it doesn't stop there. When it comes to working conditions, Norway shines again. Worker protections are solid, and the whole working 2 jobs to survive thing, almost unheard of. Only 3% of employees in Norway work very long hours, compared to the OECD average of 11% and a whopping 33% in the U.S. It's no wonder Norwegians consistently rank among the happiest people in the world, and this is despite the fact that for half the year, their country looks like the inside of a freezer. So what's the secret? If Norway is doing everything right, why isn't the rest of the world following their lead? Is it just luck? Or is this a model that can actually be replicated? Well, let's rewind a bit, because Norway didn't always look like this. Back in the 1960s, it was a modest, fishing-based economy with a GDP closer to countries like Bangladesh or Nigeria. Sure, the population was much smaller, and Norwegians had a decent quality of life, on par with Spain or Greece, but in terms of economic power, Norway was nowhere near the heavyweight it is today. Everything changed in May of 1963. That's when the Norwegian government declared sovereignty over its natural resources in the North Sea. Basically, they said, this part of the ocean, yeah, it's ours. And if there's oil under it, that's ours too. Fortunately, Norway was a NATO member, so it avoided the freedom treatment that often followed when other countries tried nationalizing resources in the 60s. And then came the big one. In 1969, a ship named the Ocean Viking struck oil, and not just a little, a lot. By the mid-70s, Norway was pumping out 1.6 million barrels of oil a day, more per capita than any other country in the world. Even now, it's only behind Kuwait, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia. Now, I know what you are thinking. Here we go, another oil-rich country getting high off petrodollars. But that's where Norway's story flips the script. Instead of going on a spending spree, the Norwegian government played it smart, very smart. You see, the oil boom caused Norway's GDP to explode, growing more than 5-fold from 12 billion to 65 billion in the 1970s. But unlike other countries, where private companies like Shell or Exxon pocket the profits, Norway kept the oil in public hands. Enter Statoil, a government-owned company that managed the production and sale of oil and gas. This meant the money didn't flow to shareholders. It flowed to the people. The government got very rich, very fast. And here's where most countries would have blown it, slashing taxes, building vanity projects, spending like there's no tomorrow. Norway didn't. Instead, they asked a simple, wise question. What happens when the oil runs out? The answer? A giant piggy bank. Norway created the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, a national savings account that now holds more money than China's, despite having a population 270 times smaller. And here's the beautiful part. The fund doesn't belong to the government. It belongs to the people. The idea is simple. These natural resources were always the property of Norwegians, so the revenue from them should benefit every citizen. And in a way it does. Each Norwegian effectively owns around $200,000 of this massive investment fund. But don't start picturing gold-plated Lamborghinis. That money isn't for spending, not even for the government. Only the profits from the fund's investments are used to fund public education, healthcare, infrastructure, and to keep growing the fund itself. And it works. In 2017 alone, the fund earned $131 billion. It's globally diversified, investing in stocks, bonds, cash, and commodities. But what it doesn't invest in is just as important. An independent ethics council screens out companies involved in weapons manufacturing, tobacco, environmental destruction, and labor abuse. Oh, and there is one more twist. The fund isn't allowed to invest in fossil fuel companies, and it's also banned from investing in exactly one country, Norway. That's right, every cent is invested abroad. This not only avoids conflicts of interest, it also ensures that the fund's performance is independent of Norway's domestic economy. In short, Norway is like the guy who won the lottery, but instead of quitting his job and buying a mansion, he kept working and invested the money into a smart, diversified portfolio. Quiet, boring, reliable, and totally brilliant. Of course, it's not all perfect. Norway is expensive. Really expensive. The average Norwegian worker takes home around $3,200 a month, more than the U.S. average of $2,030, but it doesn't stretch nearly as far. Dinner for two at a mid-range restaurant? $92. Utilities? $176 a month? A basic Volkswagen Golf? $36,473, nearly double what you'd pay in the U.S. But here's the trade-off. Norwegians don't worry about going bankrupt over medical bills. They don't fall into crushing debt to go to university. And no one fears becoming homeless because they lost their job. So, is Norway the perfect economy? Not quite. But for fans of well-planned social democratic systems, myself included, it's about as good as it gets. Norway didn't just get lucky. Yes, striking oil helped, but what truly made the difference was how they managed that wealth, thoughtfully, responsibly, for the long term. So if you ever find yourself leading a country that just struck economic gold, oil, tech, tourism, you name it, take a long look at Norway, because this right here, this is the playbook that you are working on. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, leave your comment below and subscribe to our channel to receive more news, and thanks again.